Hey, Stackers, neighbor Doug here. I've got a great one for you right now where Joe is about to talk to Dr. Julia DiGangi. She's a neuropsychologist, probably can launch rockets too, who talks about our money and our emotions. She's got an incredible question for you. What would your money say to you if you were to go to therapy together? You know, probably like you don't do the dishes enough or you never cut the lawn or you're always out playing golf with your buddies. You know, that's what it would probably say to you. It wouldn't say that to me, of course, never. But, you know, for you, probably. Anyway, make sure to listen in to what Joe is about to talk about with Dr. Julia DiGangi. Oh, and don't forget, you got to subscribe. You got to like this video so other people see it. And you got to hit that little bell down there to remind you when new stuff's coming up. But let's listen in right now. It's going to be awesome.
I'm just fascinated by your career. Before we get into this, you did something completely different before. What did you do? What did you do before you were in this particular career?
So I'm a neuropsychologist now, and you're right, not too many people have heard of a neuropsychologist. So that just means I'm a clinical psychologist with specialized expertise in the brain. And I never thought I would end up here. And I come from a sort of a lineage of psychologists, but I sort of grew up in a family that paid a lot of attention to emotion, for better and for worse, a lot of attention to behavior. And so I started to get very curious about the brain and how the brain really gives rise to our entire existence. And so that ended me into sort of the scientific study of human emotions and human relationships. And so here I am.
It is fascinating how that real life experience made you go, you know what? I really want to dive more into the brain. I think it's interesting. You talk in this project about how the science has kind of changed. It used to be we'd have the emotion. We can't do anything about the emotion, so we just have to deal with it. But now you say the science has really moved. If I got this right, the science has moved to, yes, the emotion is going to happen. It's going to come out. But we can really be much more effective than we used to think about changing our life and changing our outcomes based on what? Based on how we respond to the emotion?
Joe, I think you nailed it. So I think for a long time, there was kind of this message that we are the victim to our emotions, that things happen to us all day long, every day of our life, and then we're just kind of stuck with our feelings. And what we're really starting to understand, certainly from neuroscience, is that number one, emotions and thinking are not really separate entities. In other words, the way that you think, the way that you pay attention, the way that you make decisions, the way that you even remember is informed by emotional circuits in the brain. Okay, so like they're sort of like two sides of the same coin. And that emotions are, I mean, quite literally a neuroelectrical energy. They're an actual entity or a thing that's happening inside of our body. And we absolutely have authority over our emotions. And the reason this is so important is that emotions form the meaning of our life. I know you do some really powerful work around business and money and financial literacy. Money has everything to do with our feelings. How much is enough? How much is too little? Things about, sufficiency or insufficiency. And one of the things I think is an incredibly powerful shift for people when it comes to money is a lot of times we don't realize this, but we are absolutely in a relationship with money. So sometimes I'll ask my clients or my patients who come to me for money issues is like, if you and money went to therapy, what would money say about you?
Right. Yeah.
That you don't pay any attention to me, that you only think about me when you're panicked, that you're angry about me, that there's always insufficiency, right? So, and if you think about what this really is, it's an emotional energy. It's an emotional relationship. And when we really start to think about our lives in these emotional terms, it becomes so empowering and so transformative.
You write about these pain avoidances. You want to tell somebody what you're really feeling, but you're too afraid, so you avoid it. And by the way, I realized also reading your work that avoiding that discussion, that tough discussion, is more exhausting than actually probably having the discussion.
I just got chills when you said that because you totally nailed it. Avoidance is not free. The idea of suppressing and holding an energy that naturally just wants to move through your system down and in legitimately takes tremendous energy.
I think it's fascinating to see how the brain's working behind the scenes, because it just goes with, so many successful people we've talked to who have said, I get afraid when I don't feel the fear, when I don't feel it, like then I know something bad's going to happen. Like if I go out on a stage and I don't feel nervous, I'm about to suck. It is not going to go well. But when you talk to super successful people, it's almost like they're working the opposite. Well, and the same thing for investors, right? The stock market goes down. Everybody feels this fear. The professional investor goes, this is the time. This is the time when historically I've looked in the face of fear and I've made some better decisions. I've either held on, right? Or I found a way to see if there might be an opportunity here in the fear.
That's a phenomenal example. It's like, is that moment in time scary probably to everyone universally? Yes. But the professional investor has trained themselves to work instead of like pulling their hand back from the hot stove, right? They're able to stay with the situation it's the same situation for everyone on some level, but they've trained their emotional system to work more powerfully in the moment.
It is amazing. We just talked to Professor Peter Atwater about a new project he has about confidence, and how these two go just absolutely together is amazing. The book is called Energy Rising, the Neuroscience of Leading with Emotional Power. We talk through, guys, stuff that's in the first 2 chapters. This goes so much deeper. There's so much more. It's so exciting when you realize that you're going to have these emotions, but you can drive the bus. The book is available everywhere yesterday, right?
Yes, it's a very exciting time, and I'm so excited. I hope that people pick up Energy Rising. I really think it's an extraordinary way to work with your nervous system.
I think it's fabulous. Well, thanks for all the work you do, Dr. DiGangi, and thanks for helping our stackers become better stewards of our emotions. I appreciate it.
I appreciate the work that you do, and thank you so much for having me, Joe.
Hey, Stackers, neighbor Doug back to check in with you about what you thought about that discussion we just heard. In fact, don't tell me, because you'll just be yelling at your screen and I can't hear you, but talk about it down in the comments here on YouTube, and also hop on our Facebook group, The Basement, and make sure you talk about it there. What would your money say to you if you guys were to go to therapy together? Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and hit that reminder so you hear all about our upcoming videos. Thanks, everybody. Until next time.